This is SRA 111, Introduction to Security and Risk Analysis, Fall 2017. We are Team 3. My name is Megan Finn.
My name is Josh Abel.
My name is John Stedge.
And our research topic is, how does the U.S. Navy 10th Fleet protect U.S. assets around the world?
The U.S. 10th Fleet was originally created in World War II as an intelligence-gathering force for the U.S. Navy to defeat the Germans who were using U-boats as a type of submarine warfare against the Allied powers. This fleet was extremely effective as it enabled the U.S. Navy to sink or kill 23 U-boats per month compared to the average 4 per month prior to the creation of the U.S. 10th Fleet. The 10th Fleet was disassembled after World War II until its reemergence on January 29, 2010. The U.S. 10th Fleet is the operational arm of Fleet Cyber Command, the force responsible for the Navy's cyber warfare program. The 10th Fleet is comprised of 16,000 sailors and civilians, 25 active commands, and 32 reserve commands. It is responsible for Navy networks, cryptology, signals intelligence, information operations, electronic warfare, cyber, and space. The 5 missions of the U.S. 10th Fleet are as follows. The first being to cooperate and defend the Navy's networks and shore-to-ship communication systems. Second, to create relevant and actionable intelligence and surveillance data. Third, to plan for and operate assigned Navy spacecraft which provide telecommunications support to globally deployed operational forces. The fourth being to oversee information operations and coordinate Navy electronic warfare for automated and programmable systems. And finally, to plan and direct the operations for a subset of U.S. Cyber Command's Cyber Mission Force. The commander of U.S. 10th Fleet is Vice Admiral Michael Gilday. The deputy commander is Rear Admiral James M. Butler. The executive directors are Mr. Manuel N. Hermosilla and Paul J. Jaeger. Chief of Staff is Captain James M. Mills, and the Command Master Chief is CMC D. Allen. In the following video, we will discuss 4 components: Navy networks, space operations, cryptology, and electronic warfare that are assigned to the U.S. 10th Fleet in order to protect U.S. assets.
The U.S. 10th Fleet is charged with protecting all Navy networks by stopping cyber attacks and ensuring their constant operation. These networks must be impermeable, and in order to protect against foreign nations or states accessing our communication systems and weapon systems. U.S. Navy networks must be functioning at all times to allow for communication and sharing of information across all Navy ships and command centers. A network failure that disrupts communication or allows sensitive data to be accessed is extremely dangerous and could jeopardize our national security. The U.S. 10th Fleet is also tasked with protecting U.S. information and data by utilizing space. Its mission is to plan for and operate assigned Navy spacecraft which provide telecommunications support to globally deployed operational forces. The U.S. 10th Fleet has included space in its mission since the creation of the Fleet Cyber Command and protects the United States satellites and spacecraft from cyber attacks that would impede operations in space. However, this division will likely not be in existence in a few years, as Congress wants to institute a separate corporation to manage U.S. space assets. If this change goes into effect, it is unknown whether or not the U.S. 10th Fleet will still have a role in aiding against cyber attacks via space operations.
Cryptology is a vital component of the 10th Fleet Command and is crucial to battle space awareness, which is defined by the International Center for Maritime Security as the ability to understand the disposition and intentions of potential adversaries, as well as the characteristics and conditions of the operational environment. In other words, the U.S. 10th Fleet provides intelligence about our enemies while protecting our own intelligence, ultimately giving the Navy an advantage. The U.S. 10th Fleet, under then Commander Rochefort, used cryptology during World War II in order to decrypt Japanese naval code, called JN-25, and gain access to daily intelligence reports, which detailed Japanese troop whereabouts and military strategies. The U.S. was able to use an asset of the Japanese to its own advantage, thanks to cryptology, which is still a strategy frequently used today. Electronic warfare, as a whole is crucial to the protection of U.S. assets, given the rise of technology in today's world, which is why the Navy relies heavily on this strategy and employs the 10th Fleet as the leading force in cyber operations for the Navy. As explained by Proceedings magazine, electronic warfare is the newest and in many ways most dynamic and daunting levels of the battle space, one that the U.S. military at large must get out in front of, as our potential adversaries are most certainly trying to do. Due to the extreme importance of using electronic warfare for the protection of our assets, the U.S. Navy was the first to create an enlisted specialty position to plan and direct operations for U.S. Cyber Communications Cyber Mission Forces. This position ensures that only the best and brightest minds in our Navy are tasked with operations dealing with electronic warfare. These cyber missions of electronic warfare by the 10th Fleet reduce the effectiveness of an enemy's equipment or resources while gaining foreign intelligence to benefit the United States and its assets around the world.
Without the operations of the U.S. 10th Fleet, the United States assets would be much more vulnerable to its enemies, both foreign and domestic, and our national security would most certainly be impacted, especially in a world where technology is more important than ever. Former Secretary of Defense Gates once said, "Our increasing dependency on cyberspace, alongside a growing array of cyber threats and vulnerabilities, adds a new element of risk to our national security. To address this risk effectively and to secure freedom of action in cyberspace, the Department of Defense requires a command that possesses the required technical capability and remains focused on the integration of cyberspace operations." This command that former Secretary of Defense Gates is talking about is the U.S. 10th Fleet, and its successful operations through Navy networks, cryptology, space, and electronic warfare all play a crucial part in protecting the United States and its assets around the globe.